Hi ladies, hello gentlemen, this is Cindy, Palm Springs Cindy, going live again tonight because the memory on my computer, my iMac, is not working. I need to delete or erase a ton of memory and I don't know how to do it. I did figure out and somehow got to a spot where it said, memory left, memory taken up by, and miscellaneous was like, this almost took up the whole bar because I've deleted all my pictures, I've deleted almost all my videos, so I've got to figure out what I'm doing wrong. Anyway, that's why I need to come on to you guys live, which I am. I've got to get myself situated here. Okay. Well, I have about 7 things, not 5, not 6, but 7 things I want to talk to you guys about. I want to share with you guys about. Okay, the first one is, I'm going to turn this other light on. Hold on, you guys. See if that is any better. And I think it is. Yes, that's better. Okay, let me get myself fixed. Rockstar mom Patty recently posted, like a few days ago, I think, about a 30-minute video on her thoughts about aging. And Rockstar mom has been very good to me. And there is, I'm not going to touch my hair. I just need to get settled and then I'm going to leave it alone. I promise. Mom, I promise. Okay. I don't want to get into the politics of YouTube, but there are some predominantly very popular women on YouTube in the mature community. And if they promote you, if they do, I forgot what's called, but if they do collabs with you, if they talk about you, your numbers rise as a newbie or as a small channel. And no one has done that for me except for Rockstar Mom. And she, through the years, I did ask her to do a collab with me one time, but she said she was moving or something. It wasn't going to work out. But she has mentioned me on her YouTube more than once. And so she has been I'm going to say, the one woman that is a popular YouTuber that has been very kind to me. And I really appreciate her for that. But even more, I just appreciate her because she's absolutely darling. And I love listening to her with that sweet Southern accent. And she just nails everything right on the head. So she recently did a video on aging, her feelings towards aging, because she has chosen to age naturally. And kudos to her, not me. So anyway, I've got that written down on my list to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about that tonight because that's going to take a kind of a deeper conversation. I'm not really prepared to get real deep tonight. Plus, I may have to do some editing on that. When I talk about that, I'm going to have to cut some things out. And when I'm going live like this, I can't cut anything out. So there you go. But I did want to mention Rockstar Mom. And that she has been, she's been very kind to me, and not everybody is that kind. Okay, I want to also say that when I'm home during the day, this is the second thing I want to talk about. When I'm home during the day, and I tend to be home a lot, more and more actually. If I have coffee in the morning, or if I make a smoothie, or if I'm feeding Shelby and I'm cutting something up, I'm using dishes, I'm using silverware, I'm using a glass, I'm using a pot or a pan. And so since it's just me, I don't want to wash one thing out at a time. So what I do is I make a suds, and my sink is divided into two. So I make a suds in my right side of the sink, hot water, soap, detergent. And during the day, I drop in my little plates and my forks and my knives. And by the end of the day, then I go and I wash, I take everything out, I rinse it all off, and I stick it in the dishwasher. Then after a few days, maybe it's time for me to turn on the dishwasher. So I'm just curious, because right now I'm living alone, and even if it's you and your husband, or you and a roommate, or whatever, you and your wife, do you like just wash everything the minute you use it, or do you like suds it sort of like how I do, and then get to it later on at the end of the day? I'm just throwing that out there. And by the way, I really appreciated everybody's comments about using lights in their house. I mentioned, I think it was last night about this time, that I only turn the lights on in the room where I am, and the rest of my house is dark, and that I didn't like that. But I also did not want to keep the lights on in all the other rooms when I wasn't there, because my electric bill, number one, would be sky high, and it already is sky high. So anyway, so I did appreciate all you ladies that spoke up about how you worked the light system in your house. Okay, let's see. All right, another thing I want to mention, if you want to laugh out loud, belly laugh out loud, and they say that a good laugh is very healthy for us, that gets our endorphins up or whatever. And if you want to laugh really, I've been laughing so much I've been crying, because I've been watching this comedian, and his name is, maybe you've heard of him, I have never heard of him, and now of course I feel like he's my husband. I've been watching him for 2 days straight. But his name is Sebastian Maniscalco. Sebastian Maniscalco. He's an Italian man in his 40s, probably his mid-40s. Anyway, I have never heard of him. Somehow my link landed on him. I watched a little tidbit that he did. I cracked up. Then I investigated, and I Googled him, and I went online, and I found out, so he has 2 Netflix specials, and he's very much like Jerry Seinfeld. He talks about just observing life. He doesn't get down and dirty or anything like that. He does say some cuss words sometimes, but not a lot. And sometimes when he says them, he kind of slurs them so that you're not sure he actually said them. And so anyway, if you want, and your husband would enjoy watching him too, it's definitely funny for a couple, a man, a woman, whatever. I would not want to invite my young children to watch him, but he is hysterical. And so Sebastian Maniscalco. It's a mouthful, but if you go on YouTube, type that in, he'll pop right up. Watch him and get ready to laugh your laugh like crazy. Okay, another thing that I wanted to talk to you about. I'm going to skip that and save that to the last. I have 2 patio tables and I bought those big umbrellas. Remember, I got that great deal. It was $140 for 2 umbrellas and 2 bases. It turned out to be $150, and I had to drive out of town, and I bought them, and they were delightful, and I have them up, and they're beautiful. Well, I got home today from playing bridge. One of them had flown off my table. Thank the Lord my table didn't break, because my table has a glass top on it, but the umbrella had like flown in the sky and landed on the cement in between my patio furniture. The stalk, the pole of the umbrella had snapped in half, because I tried to see if I could like snap it back together again, but I couldn't. It was too destroyed. So I'm irritated about that. I've only had them about 3 weeks. So now that one that I purchased is destroyed. It's ginormous, and I had to haul it out by my trash can. It won't fit in a trash can. I'm going to have to like make a collection of trash and get like one of those hire or rent one of those ginormous trash bins at the house. So I'm irritated about that. And it never is windy at my house. But of course today, when I went to play bridge and I came home, it was windy while I was gone because my pool, the pool man was here today early, and now the pool's full of bougainvillea leaves, and then my umbrella flew off. And so, you know, what are you going to do? But it irritates me. Okay, let's see what else I wanted to say. All right, before I go on, recently I flew to Las Vegas to meet a friend. I'm not liking this side of my hair, you guys. I can see myself in the thing. Recently I flew to Las Vegas, and I have been binge watching because I am totally fascinated by these inside the airplane customer dynamic disasters. Now, before this, I was obsessed with dog grooming videos, and I told you about it, and I gave you a link, and several of you went to the link, and you wrote me back, and you said, no wonder you're obsessed. They're absolutely adorable. So now I'm obsessed with airplane disasters. Not the kind that they crash, but the kind where the air marshal has to get on the plane and give the customers the what for. Well, I am astounded at the behavior of some of these air passengers. And and then when like they sit down, and then somebody near them whips out their cell phone, starts videotaping. So it's not a professional videotape. It's very amateur, but it gets the job done. You can see the behavior of these creepy people. So it doesn't matter, man or woman, something irritates them. It may be a crying baby. It may be a dog, a little pet that's on board. It could be that the plane is sitting there too long. Who knows what it is that triggers this impatience and this behavior on the part of the passenger. So the passenger begins to talk too loud and get irritated, and then says, you looking at me? You looking at me? What you looking at me for? You disrespecting me? So then the passenger goes off. So then by this time, the stewardess is like, what's going on back there? So then the stewardess goes back there and says, what's going on? And then, the people sitting next to the loud, crazy person are all so kind. They're all like, well, I don't know. But the crazy person is like, why are we sitting here so long? Make that baby stop crying. I can't sit here while that baby's crying. And so then the stewardess might say something nice like, oh, ma'am, or oh, sir, it'll just be a moment and we'll be taking off. But oh no, can the patient accept that? No, the patient calls the stewardess a biatch. The plane passenger turns around, everybody's sitting next to him, and flips them off and just goes crazy. So then they say, evidently the stewardesses get their little walkie-talkie out and say, get security over here, because the planes have usually not taken off yet. If they have not taken off yet, they don't take off. And usually it's these big buff guys with these armor vests, these bulletproof vests that come on that say CSI or FBI or whatever. And they walk down the aisle and they say, come with me. And the stupid crazy person says, I'm not coming with you. And then they're like, you better come with us. And they're like, make me. And I want my money back. And the marshal people say, we're going to taser you. Get up. We're going to taser you if you don't follow instructions. And the person's like, taser me, taser me. And so they do. They taser them. And then the person's like, did you guys see what happened? Did you see what they did to me? Well, anyway, they are obnoxious. And these poor security people that have to put up with them and have to, sometimes they literally, one person holds the arms, another person holds the legs, and they hoist them down the aisle to get them off the plane. Not to mention that everybody sitting around this crazy person is very upset. Some are even crying. Others are like thinking we're going to miss our next flight. It's just ridiculous. So, okay, I had to share that with you, that I am so, because I was recently on an airplane and I was thinking about, missing a flight because we were very, very late. But like they said, it's not just us that's late. Everybody else that you're going to be transitioning to get on your connection, they're going to be late too. So we're all going to be late together, and don't worry about it. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? So anyway, but while I was on that airplane, and then while I was watching these crazy airplane videos, I started looking at the people on the airplane. Now, I remember when I was like 14, that was like 1965, and I flew on an airplane by myself to Los Angeles, from Mississippi to Los Angeles, and I wore a Villager women's suit. I don't know if you guys remember Villager, but it had a little A-line skirt with a zipper up the back. It had a little jacket with 3/4 length sleeves, a few little buttons, down. And then I think I had a little white t-shirt on underneath. I wore stockings, not pantyhose. We didn't have pantyhose then. I wore stockings with like a girdle and the little foomp things. And I wore high heels, not high heels, but high little heels. I wore white gloves, like gloves to here, because that was what you wore when you were on an airplane. You guys, since I was recently on an airplane, I looked around and now I know we dress much more casually these days, but I was embarrassed. Shouldn't we be embarrassed for the people dressing in pajamas when they get on the airplane? Shouldn't we be embarrassed, or shouldn't they be embarrassed? I'm choking myself up for getting on an airplane with a little, we call them wife beater t-shirts, but I know that's politically incorrect, so please forgive me, but one of those white underwear t-shirts that men wear, and so many people looked so god awful that my eyes were like this big. One person would come down the aisle and then another. Well, not to mention that I saw them, in the waiting room before we even got on the plane, and I thought, oh my gosh, didn't anybody tell them they were still wearing their pajamas? Didn't anybody tell them that their pants had holes all in them? Didn't anybody tell them you can see totally through that top? You can see her bra, if she even had a bra on. I was flabbergasted at the casualness of how people dressed. Now, they weren't like just from the hospital. They weren't patients that had been in an accident and pulled out of the car and had to get on the plane ASAP. I mean, these were people that thought about their plane ride, that prepared their luggage, that had their ticket, that knew where their next little stop was going to be. They had to make some preparation, but evidently they didn't make preparation on how they dressed. So I am just floored at how casual so many people dress these days. Call me crazy, call me whatever, but that's how I feel, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, I have two I have two other things to talk about, but I'm so worked up over the airplane video. I'm so worked up over how casual so many people dress that I just can't even talk about what else. I can't even finish my conversation. So I'm not. But I'll add it on to a video for tomorrow night, or until I can get the iMac people to answer the phone so they could walk me through what's wrong with my iMac, so I have enough memory to download videos. All right, ladies and gents, I am going to hang up. Mom, I'm sorry, I keep touching my hair. I know you don't like that, but it's just a habit. P.S. I love you. Mwah. Thanks for watching. Oh, please subscribe. I did recently get a I don't even know if they were a subscriber, but they said, I can't believe you don't have more subscribers. And I was like, really? So if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. And that would mean a lot to me, and I would love that. So, and welcome to all my new subbies. I do have a lot of new subs. So welcome aboard. And this is Palm Springs Cindy saying until our next conversation.